The crack splits open like a doorway, and blinding blue light bursts through like a tsunami, slamming Agatha against the wall of the tub and blasting Ripper away from her. The source of light paralyzed her brain and weighed on her chest, her lungs pinned under the force of a boulder. She couldn't think anymore, as if she had lost the top of her head and any thoughts were flying away before she could catch them. Her hands and feet seemed to move where her eyes and mouth were, her eyes and mouth now down by her knees. She didn't know where she was or how she had gotten there. She didn't know her own name or if this was happening in past or present, in forward or reverse. Two other bodies floated near her, but she didn't know whose they were or if they were human or monster. Touch the crystal, a voice echoed. Crystal? What crystal? Touch the crystal. Pummeled by the light, she stepped out her hand, two other hands thrashing into hers at the same time, all of them finding nothing but water. Agatha tore herself off the wall, reaching further, running out of breath. Her hands grabbed the glass. Instantly, her body shattered like she was made of glass too, any last shards of awareness shattering with it. For a moment, there was nothing, just light inhaling her, then crumbling to darkness like a sheet of paper tearing in at the edges. Slowly, she assembled, body, soul, self. When she opened her eyes, Agatha was no longer in Glomland. She was standing in a glass room, the transparent walls and floor glowing wintry blue, the inside of the room swirling with thin, silvery smoke. A faint arc throbbed at her temples, but her chest had gotten worse. Every breath felt like it was packing her lungs with rocks. Wowie! Someone whisked. Agatha turned to Tetros and Sophie, their wet bodies framed by a rounded, luminous glass wall. Both looked shaky. Tetros rubbed at his bare chest. We are inside the crystal ball, said Agatha. Look! She pointed at the wall behind them. Outside the glass, water rippled and foamed, contained by a blue stone bathtub. I felt like I got clubbed by a troll, Sophie choked, clenching at her flank. No wonder Dovey was such a mess. For once, I agree with Sophie, Tetros said, still breathing hard. Whatever we just went through beats the living hell out of me. How could Merlin survive it? Merlin is a skilled enough wizard to diffuse the power of the ball, said the voice from the corner. Most of it, at least. They turned to see Ripper stagger up, a clothed drippy mess, like looking less a cat and more a masked banana. And while cats don't actually have 9 lives, we are much hardier than humans. Now stay alert. Our time inside the crystal is limited. 20 or 13 minutes at most. The sooner we find answers, the fewer trips we have to make. The fewer trips we make, the less chance we suffer the same fate as your Dean. Agatha's neck smoldered wet, Her body signed that she was out of her depth. She grunted for air. So what do we do now? The silvery smoke swooshed past her head from all sides, crystallizing into the same phantom mask she had seen at school. The mask glinted again between the features of Professor Dove and the face of someone familiar, someone Agatha was so sure that she knew. But there was no time to study it further, because the phantom was diving towards her, primed to ask her who she wanted to see. Except this time, it blew right past her and pressed it against the back of the glass, facing the empty bathwater, as if Agatha was still outside the bar. Agatha watched it from behind the mask as it spoke to no one, its voice echoing. Clear as crystal, hard as bone, my wisdom is Clarissa's, and Clarissa's alone. But she named you her second, so I'll speak to you too. So tell me, dear second, whose life shall I cool? A friend or an enemy, any name I'll allow. Say it loud, and I'll show you them now. Hurry! Start examining crystals! Weeper exhorted, standing on tiptoes and inspecting the back edges of the mask. What crystals? Tetra said, confused. Agatha approached her cat, watching him pour the beads of smoke that formed the phantom. Her eyes widened. It wasn't smoke. Each bead of mist was a crystal. Thousands of these little glass orbs, the size of teardrops, floated in the mass shaped like pearls held together without a string, and within everyone, a scene played out like its own miniature crystal ball. Agatha put a handful of these crystals towards her, their surfaces cool and bubbly to the touch. She peered into the small glass droplets, replaying key moments from her own life, as a toddler, chasing her mother across Graves Hill, walking with Sophie for the first time through Gavilan Square, falling from the steam into the school for good. But now she was finding crystals that played moments from Sophie's life. Sophie as a baby with her mother. Sophie singing to animals in Gavilan. Sophie battling Hester in an evil classroom. Then, suddenly, Agatha was seeing scenes from Tetra's life. And Weepers too, she realized it, peering into a crystal that showed her cat bullied by his handsome brothers. It's showing all our pasts, Agatha said, from.